Okay. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon for our Lunch and Learn. It's a pleasure to have Jessica and Sarah here, and it's a pleasure to have you here. Oh, I see a few people I saw earlier today. We had another session for solo entrepreneurs um, and how to build their business, and I told them about this session, so I see some people joining us. Welcome. It is our Lunch and Learn, and we're partnering with the American Marketing Association Chicago chapter today. We have their executive director, Bonnie, here, and I just want to go through a little bit about the WBDC. Welcome first. My team is here, Felicitas and Yesenia, and we are always available for no-cost one-on-one advising at the Women's Business Development Center. I'll just tell you a minute's worth of information about the Women's Business Development Center because I know we want to get into the programming. So the WBDC has been around since 1986. We are a nonprofit. We have a tagline saying Ignite Business Growth. You see it here under our logo, Ignite Business Growth. And we do that through access to connections, similar to what we're doing today, access to capital. So we have a team that will help you decide whether you are credit ready and get you there. And then we have access to contracts. We have access to government contracts, corporate contracts, and exporting contracts. So if you are there, if you're, at about $100,000 in revenue, maybe give or take, and you're ready to take on a government contract or you're ready to export, please come and visit the Women's Business Development Center. So our mission is to support and accelerate women's business ownership and strengthen the impact of women and all diverse business owners on the economy. So our goal is to create economic impact within communities. So that is us. My name's Maura Mitchell. I've been at the Women's Business Development Center, the Illinois SBDC at the Women's Business Development Center for over 6 years. And I love helping people from startup to revenue. And then again, when they get stuck and they want to scale. So I'm kind of helpful at the sticking points. But please join us for one-on-one advising. We are always open to helping you. And the beauty of the Women's Business Development Center is that if I can't help you, someone else usually can, or we have a client that can help you, or a subject matter expert like Sarah and Jessica can help you. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Sarah and Jessica, and then I'll hand it over to them and let them get started on this great topic today. So Sarah Thaler is Senior Digital Marketing Specialist at Losasso Integrated Marketing, and she helps B2C and B2B brands of all sizes boost revenue and customer engagement. She skillfully combines a strong background in SEO, content planning, and managing email programs to create a cohesive and effective email campaign strategy that benefits her readers and clients. Her philosophy is clear. She wants to integrate diverse tactics to create captivating emails that reach inboxes and drive desired responses again and again. So welcome to Sarah. Thank you for being here today, Sarah. And then we have Jessica Tarones. She is Senior Social Media Strategist at Losasso Integrated Marketing, and she oversees the strategy, planning, and creative execution of all client social channels. She draws from experience with B2C and B2B brands, and she's a big picture thinker who creates tailored strategies, builds engaged communities, and crafts compelling content for diverse audiences. She leverages a data-driven, social-first strategy. She ensures optimal performance across all platforms, shaping a comprehensive and effective online presence for her clients. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for the Chicago chapter of the American Marketing Association. And thank you to all of us who joined today. We're excited to learn more. So Jessica and Sarah, you can take off and I will put on my mute button. And we would love to see faces. I know some people aren't ready to show their faces, but we love to see people. If you can share your screen, share your face.
Perfect. I can go ahead and share my screen. Can everyone see that okay? Can you just give me a thumbs?
Yes,
Good. Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you for the intro, Maura. So today we are discussing navigating the digital landscape, social media and email marketing 101. Mara already gave us the introductions, but again, my name is Jessica. I work as a social strategist at Lasasso, and I have linked my LinkedIn here. I'm not sure if this will get sent afterward, but happy to send you with our direct LinkedIn links if you guys would like to connect with us afterward.
Hi, everybody. Sarah here. Same thing that Jessica just shared. Feel free to connect with me via email or LinkedIn if you guys have any additional questions after this lunch and learn. And I'm very passionate about just helping small businesses grow. I live in Anderson and Uptown area, so very small business friendly. So I'm really excited to share my knowledge to help everybody on this call.
Perfect. So today we're hoping to walk through a couple key things that we believe small business owners can really benefit from and leverage. The first is how to elevate brand awareness through social media and email content and really just generate more eyes on your business altogether. Boosting engagement on both of those platforms as well. And we've got a number of actionable tips that will hopefully be easy to understand and replicate for your business. And then lastly, we're hoping to touch on how email and social can kind of work together and really maximize impact. So looking at social efforts and email efforts and really how they work together and hopefully, again, drive that awareness and engagement for your small business. Oh. So first for social media, I have a quick question. And I figured if everyone has access to the chat, if you could maybe answer this question, what level of experience you have with social media marketing, A, beginner, B, intermediate, or C, advanced, just so we can kind of gauge what everyone's skill set or understanding is of social. Let me take a look. All right, so it seems like a good amount of people have at least some understanding. We've got a couple beginners, but for the most part, it looks like the larger group has some understanding, falls in that intermediate category, so that's perfect. So this might be a quick refresher for some or completely new for others. But either way, if you guys have any questions, as Sarah or I are speaking through each of these slides, feel free to just, let us know. You can either put it in the chat, or I think that Zoom might actually also have like a hand raise function. But feel free to pop the question in the chat. So if you haven't heard already, I fully believe that your small business needs to be on social. And if you're contemplating whether there's a space for your business on social media, or if it would make sense, or if it's worth your time, effort, or investment, let this be your sign. I'm here to tell you today that yes, absolutely, 100% your business definitely needs to be on social. These are a couple screen grabs of some local businesses in the Chicago area. These are their Instagram accounts, and this is a quick snapshot too of what's possible even for small businesses across social media. You can see each of them have got substantial followers. This one has 30,000, this one 63,000, and then this one 12,000. So the opportunities are really vast, and I'm hoping to kind of share a little bit about why. So your current customers are likely already on social media. On top of that, your competitors are there. And beyond that, new customers are there, even if you don't think they're there. So understanding who's on social media really kind of makes a case for why your brand should have a presence on social. About 51.2% of people research brands online before making a purchase or booking a service. And this is really key information because social media, especially in today's day and age, is how a lot of people find new businesses. Before it used to be a Google search, and while Google is still equally as relevant and important today, social media in and of itself has definitely driven kind of that search aspect and helped brands and small businesses even get recognized. And another interesting fact is that users spend about 143 minutes on social media per day, which is a lot of time. So understanding that this is where people are, and that people are also looking at social media to kind of show them new things and new businesses, there's a really great opportunity, no matter your business, industry, size, to be on social and be where the people are. And one other interesting thing, I always love seeing stats like this, is that this year there's actually estimated to be 5.17 billion social media users worldwide, of which 302 million are based here in the United States. So again, really big opportunity. Everybody's on social media, literally. And I think that it goes without saying that your business should be on social media, if not already. So if you're not already on social media, or if you are and you're not really sure kind of where to go or how to execute it in a way that would work for your brand, I've got a couple key things that I think would work as a starting point, because if you're familiar, social media can get pretty overwhelming. There's constant updates, there's new platforms coming in, others phasing out, all of these different changes, and it can be really overwhelming, especially for a small business owner who might be strapped for time or resources, and doesn't really know where to start. So I would suggest first determining your platforms. So we've already kind of addressed that your brand should be on social media. I think that it's pretty clear. There's definitely reason and opportunity for a business to be on social. But in terms of being everywhere, or everywhere social is, I don't think that your business needs to be on every single social network. I think that that can get a little overwhelming, especially if you don't have the team to kind of allocate toward, executing. And so I always suggest and recommend starting small, maybe one platform, and kind of seeing how that goes for you, and then expanding beyond that. So for some that might be Facebook, others it could be Instagram, or so on and so forth. And another thing that will kind of help you determine which platforms to be on is understanding where your target audience is and meeting them where they are. So a couple general facts and stats is that we know a lot of Gen X, baby boomers, and millennials are on Facebook. And some are also on Instagram. However, Instagram generally tends to be more Gen X and millennial. And then we know, of course, the younger audiences are likely to be on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, the Gen Z and younger millennial audience, and even Gen Alpha, if that might make up some of your target audience. So thinking through strategically who your target audience is, or who your ideal customer is, what, their age, interests, and so on, they are, and then figuring out what platforms would work for that audience. So if you're trying to reach a younger audience, it might not make sense to be on Facebook. If you're trying to reach an older audience, in some cases, it might not make sense to be on TikTok, though I am biased and I do think everyone should be on TikTok. That's a separate conversation. Outside of determining your platforms, you want to establish your social media content. And so what I mean by that is understanding what to post. And that can kind of be a hang up for a lot of companies. And so you want to create content that your audience wants. So again, thinking through who this target customer is and what information they're looking for, and creating content that would address that. So if people are curious about sales, or they're curious about events or key information, or maybe even your business address, if you've got multiple locations, or how to reach out to you, things like that, you want to create content that your audience wants. And you also want to create content that you can keep up with. So same like what I shared about, sticking with one platform and then expanding. You don't need to do everything all at once. You don't need to be on every platform, and you don't need to be posting every single day, multiple times a day. I would suggest creating content that you can keep up with. So if you've got one platform and you've got a couple hours a week, maybe that looks like a post or two a week, and that's manageable for you with the resources that you have. Beyond that, you want to create content that works for the platform you're on. So I would encourage you, if you haven't already, to read up on the different social media platforms and get an understanding of the type of content that works on each platform. There are some, again, like TikTok or YouTube, that are primarily video focused, and that might be hard to execute if you don't have any existing videos or someone that can help you create them. But if you've got some photos, maybe that could work on Instagram, or, you know, if you don't have any photos or videos, but you've got, you know, you're good with words and you can quickly share a couple tweets or Facebook posts about your business, that's also a good place to start. So these are really high level things. Again, this is not an exhaustive list, but this is where I would start. Figure out what platforms you want to be on, and then establish the content. In terms of generating awareness, there's a couple things I would suggest, and just to kind of backtrack, what I mean by awareness is getting people familiar with your brand. So especially for small businesses, sometimes it's hard to get noticed, especially on social media where there are so many businesses and brands, oftentimes really large, successful ones, and it can kind of be difficult to get a smaller brand notice, especially if you're not extremely active as these larger businesses or brands. And so if you want to get your name out there and ensure that your target audience hears about you on social media, here's where I would start first. First, I would optimize your profile. And what I mean by that is correctly filling out and populating every single piece of your profile. This looks like your username, your contact information, a website link if you have one, as well as a phone number or business hours and an address. So ensuring that you have all proper information listed on your profile. That way, if someone lands on your profile and they're interested in visiting, they have everything they need in one place. And another note on that is if you haven't gone on social media yet, or maybe if you already are and your username doesn't reflect your business name exactly, I would do your best to update that or adjust it as you can. I know a lot of times usernames can be taken, but as close as you can make your username to your business name, that will help your brand or your business get noticed more. You don't want to make it something completely out of left field if that's not your business name. And you also want to, like I mentioned, just make it easy for people to learn about you. So the key things here, making it easy for people to find you and making it easy for people to learn about you or visit the store or make a purchase and essentially take that next step. Secondly, I would leverage keywords. And if you're unfamiliar with keywords, this is kind of could be some marketing jargon if you're unfamiliar, but it's essentially a word that I would say is like an identifier. So if you are a coffee shop, for example, a keyword could be coffee shop or Chicago coffee, or even more niche like Andersonville coffee, things like that. You want to establish the keywords that are associated with your brand or your business and use them not only in your profile, so in your about section where it says, you know, tell us what your business is about on your profile, but also within your captions. So if you're going to make a Facebook post about your business, make sure that you're including keywords that match your business, because social media, like I mentioned previously, is used now similar like Google. And the same way you would search something for Google and get relevant results, you can do on social media. So if someone is searching for Chicago coffee, if you have correct keywords in your posts, it's likely that your posts will populate in the social media search results, which is what you want. So you want to use relevant keywords to get your business discovered, and you want to ensure that you're using keywords everywhere that they're allowed. So within your profile, within your captions, and then in your hashtags as well. If you're not familiar, a hashtag is the £, again, usually accompanied by a keyword, and these also act as kind of like an identifier that you can add to the end of your captions or your profile that helps your social media posts become more discoverable. On that note, I'm sure Sarah might have a couple other things to share about keywords, as she is the expert in that category. But these are a couple things that will help you generate awareness on your social media posts and content. So thinking through engagement, you know, if you're following all the steps correct, we started from square one, the business needs to be on social media. Got it. Now you've got one platform, you're creating content for that target audience or customer, and you're creating content that you can keep up with, your profile's adequately filled out, your social posts have keywords in them. Now, how do we get people to follow us, like our posts, comment on our posts, or share our posts. First and foremost, you want to be social. And I think it's really important to remember that without engagement or interactivity on social media becomes just media. So it's designed to be social. It's designed for you to connect and have conversations. And in order to get that for your business, you also need to give that. So I would suggest following and interacting with nearby businesses, local personalities, influencers, customers, or other people within the community, and start interacting with them, like their posts, comment on their posts, see if you can offer them a discount, or, you know, in some cases, if you're really advanced, you could partner with some community people and ask them, you know, if you visit our coffee shop and post about it, we'll give you a free coffee, something like that. I'm using the coffee shop example because I feel like that's the easiest to understand. But the goal is to be social. Additionally, you know, because you are a business owner, social media now also becomes a customer service channel. So a lot of times people will reach out with questions or concerns on social media, and it's actually mentioned, I have it in a stat listed in my notes here, that I think it's about 50% of people favor businesses that use social media as a customer service tool. And if you respond back to a question or concern they have, and offer that customer service on social media, they're more likely to revisit your business. So that's something to consider. I'm not sure, you know, how large each of your teams are. I imagine some of you might be the designated customer service rep and the marketing person, among other things. But maybe if you do have a person designated for customer service support, you could also share your social media login information with them, and they could be the person that goes through and kind of vets any of the requests that might come through. Beyond that, you want to drive action in your posts. So each of your social posts should include, not each of them, a portion of them should include a call to action or a CTA. This is when you ask people to follow you, or you ask people to comment, share, etc. I will say not all posts need a call to action. So you don't want to constantly create posts that say, come visit our store every single day. And that's the only post that you ever make, come visit our store. That then becomes spammy and salesy, and people don't really react well to that. So you do want to weave in, you know, come by this Saturday, we have a new menu item, or come by this Saturday, we're having a sale. But you also want to include other types of content, again, that people would be interested in. So maybe your menu items or your new collection this season, so on and so forth. And you also want to leverage the tools that are at your disposal and test new features as they become available. So like I mentioned, social media is ever changing. And as you do research, hopefully you'll see that different platforms do a million different things, it seems like. Thankfully, there's a lot of tools and features in each platform that kind of make them different from the other. And the platforms themselves, so Facebook or Meta itself, has said that they want you, the user, the social media user, to leverage these new features. So what I mean by features is like on Instagram, there's Instagram stories, and on Facebook. So beyond just posting to your feed or to your profile, you can also post a story. That's a feature. You can share threads on Twitter. That's a feature. So leverage the different tools and don't be afraid to kind of experiment and test new things as they work for you. There's also a lot of instances where you can add your website link, if you have a website, to your social posts, not just your social posts, but your stories. You can add contact buttons on your page. Facebook will ask you if you want to add a button to your page. You can add the button that says learn more, that takes people to the website. It could say directions, that takes people to your brick and mortar business. So play around with it, definitely do some research and kind of understand the nuances between each platform and what features are available to you. And don't be afraid to experiment and kind of test things out. And lastly, I feel like this is so much information. This all, again, could be pretty new to some. And, you know, even if it's not totally new to you, you still, you know, can feel overwhelmed. I myself, doing this for so long, working at an agency, balancing many clients with this, even get overwhelmed from time to time. So there thankfully are a lot of third-party social media tools that really make the job of social media easier, whether you are managing one page or multiple pages, or you're only posting like a couple times a week or several times a week. Thankfully, each of these have kind of their own offerings, and they vary in price. But the greatest thing about them is they allow you to work smarter, not harder. And so I've got a couple logos here. If you were to take a photo of this or Google any of these names, you would easily see, what they can do and how they can help you. The cool thing though is that if your business is on Facebook or you're looking to be on Facebook, Facebook and Instagram, which is under Meta, actually offers what is called Meta Business Manager, and it's completely free. And Meta Business Manager does a lot like these tools do. They will allow you to schedule your social media posts in advance. So one hang up could be that, maybe you've got a post, but you don't have time to post, or you have a lot of ideas, but it requires you to kind of post multiple times a week and you just don't have that downtime. There are tools like each of these listed here that allow you to schedule your posts in advance. On top of that, they will aggregate all of the messages, comments, and mentions that you get on social media in one place and allow you to respond to messages. You can also analyze your performance and see what social posts perform better compared to others. And ideally, you would be able to take a closer look at what works and what doesn't and kind of improve from there. You could also generate reports if you're ever interested in seeing, a lot of data regarding your social performance. So that's a very, very high level view of what these tools do, but I would encourage you to take a look at these. And if you're not leveraging a social media tool and your business is on social media, take a look at these. I would say it's worth the investment. They vary in price. Most of them, thankfully, have a demo or a trial you could go through. And then if you're only on Facebook, take advantage of Meta Business Manager and leverage the tools within that, and you'll be set. So I will pass this to Sarah. And if you had any questions, like I mentioned, regarding the social media slides I shared, just add them in the chat and we'll chat through them at the end of this.
Awesome. Thank you, Jessica. So
Now, Sarah, I think you were being heard through Jessica's mic and now we can't hear you.
Now?
Yeah, now
Oh,
you're echoing.
Jesus.
So maybe Jessica has to keep hers on and you turn yours off.
Yeah.
okay. Sorry about that, guys. Moving on to email, similar to what Jessica was talking about, in line with making sure that we're just really building awareness and engagement through our email. So if we want to go to our next slide, I'd really love to just kind of get an understanding of where everybody is and kind of like their email journey. So that in the chat, you can share kind of what your biggest pain point is. So as we're going through these slides, I can help tailor that to everyone here. Kidding. Yeah. Open is always a struggle. There's a lot of clutter in there. Okay, awesome. Thank you for everyone who has answered. So we'll be able to talk about kind of a little bit all of these actually kind of pain points later on. So as we're getting started with email, similar to social media, there are a lot of email platforms that, to be honest, they're all going to do the same thing for you. At the end of the day, it's really about a personal, in my opinion, choice on which platform you feel is easily navigable for you and where you're at. Some tools are more advanced than others. All these tools are going to have free trials. They'll allow you to have, smaller plans just based on your list size so that you can experiment and get familiar with them. A lot of these are also just industry leading tools. So they're very familiar, which is great because if you are new to email, are just getting started or still want to, maybe scale up and manage your programs more effectively, they have great resource centers and learning tools to help you navigate literally just the platforms, give you really helpful insights on how to structure your campaigns and things like that. So all of these, again, will kind of do the same. Some are more small business friendly than others. For beginners, I definitely would probably recommend a Constant Contact just for getting started. They tend to be a little bit cost effective. They may not have all of the bells and whistles that a more advanced program needs, which is fine for just getting started. And they do have a really helpful resource center since they are very large. So I think it's just really small business and beginner friendly. If you are in consulting or work with other businesses, obviously HubSpot is kind of like that go-to for the industry there. So now that we kind of have our tool, we want to get people to engage with our emails. And a lot of that email is tricky because I don't know about you guys, I get hundreds of emails a day. There's a lot of noise and we need to figure out how to be very cut through that thread and cut through that inbox and get our audience's attention on a very small screen because we're always on mobile as well. So even smaller attention spans, I feel like, when we're on our mobile phone. So we're going to kind of walk through sort of like the 3 parts of our email. So our first kind of pain point, if you will, as someone said, literally just getting people to open and notice our emails. So we're starting here with our subject line. I always recommend being concise. You can see, especially on mobile, there's a limited number of characters before it starts to get cut off. So whenever we're crafting our emails, we want to make sure that our most important information that we want to get across is being seen in that subject line. So if you have to go over that character limit, just make sure that most important info is first, or better yet, just keep it within that character limit. I want to say, I think it's about 60 characters, including spaces. Always check those characters and those spaces. You also want to just get creative and spark curiosity. Here at Less Also, we've seen really great performance when we pose things as a question, or just again using first names if you have access to that data. Just trying to again personalize that experience, act like you're kind of talking to the person or talking to their pain points, versus being more generic, which might kind of blend in our inbox. We also want to use action words and numbers and lists. Numbers has always been kind of a really nice way of cutting through that noise. It really, I feel like, sets expectations with the person who's reading the email. So if you're sharing something about deals or tips or something like that, like saying, hey, here are 4 tips or here are 5 tips, just kind of setting that expectation with your readers up front has really helped to get noticed. And people also, I think, just like numbers. As you can see, there's a lot of words, right? So anything to really just like change up the inbox and what it looks like on mobile and desktop is always great. And last but not least, obviously we don't want to come across as spammy. Sometimes when we say free, it can often trigger some spam filters. So we just want to make sure that we're being unique and really purposeful with our subject lines. And then the next component is called the pre-header, which is that section underneath the subject line there. This is kind of like first treating it like a second subject line. You get a little bit more space, and in a way you're just kind of like summarizing or maybe giving a sneak preview as to what the user can expect. So again, it's just more opportunity to really set that expectation with your subscribers and convince them to actually open and click through. So you can play around with it, but still needing to be concise, because you can see when you do go past that character limit, you start to see the little dots. So try and fit what you can inside the full pre-header space. Next component is your content. So this is really where you can experiment, get really playful, and bring in just a lot of color and design to your email to get people to engage with your content. So here we have in our header at the top, you always want to make sure that you have your business logo so that people are continuing to see that throughout their journey. We also recommend that you try and have some sort of like menu style up at the top so that, you know, if you do have a website, you're able to send people to different parts of your website without having to address it in the body of your copy. So it just gives your audience different opportunities to engage with your content. And then as we move into the main kind of meat of our email, we want to make sure that we're balancing our messaging. Obviously, our primary messaging up at the top, that's always going to be what, you know, the purpose of the email is, that main content, the reason that you sent that email in the first place. We always want to make sure that we're showcasing value and we're providing that benefit to our audience. And then in our secondary or messaging, make sure it's complementary. It's not so out of left field that it still works with your primary message, and that they go together kind of like cohesively. They're building off of one another to really build that strong engagement there. And then next is our call to action. So every email should have some sort of purpose behind it, whether you want them to contact you to learn more or shop your sale or something. There's always a reason, you know, for sending that email. So we want to make sure that we're putting that in there and designing it as a button like we see here of start comparing, and that it's not just a hyperlink text, just so that it takes up more real estate, it's more captivating, and it will appear just more shiny and more desirable in the email. It's also really great when we can be more interesting with our buttons instead of just learn more or buy now. Make it more actionable. Maybe, you know, if you are promoting a clearance sale, it's shop the clearance, you know, tie whatever the reason behind the email is also with your call to action button as well. And then our third part is our design. So images are really great just to bring a lot of life and fun to an email. They add a lot of pizzazz. They're really great at just breaking up text, which can be very heavy and overwhelming to the reader. So making sure that we're using, you know, images and also just icons. If maybe your business doesn't have a lot of photography, don't be afraid to use little icons as well to represent different ideas and things that you want to communicate. And of course, colors and styles, be playful, stand out, but not too overwhelming. We still want to make sure that we're reader friendly and designing easy on the eyes as well, and that we're matching the brand styles and your brand. So if you have a website, make sure that you're using similar colors, similar fonts, or if you just have, you know, no website or just like a business card, make sure you're cohesive across everything so that no matter where your subscribers interacting with you, they have a similar experience across all of your channels. And that goes the same on your social media as well. So as we're you know, thinking through, I know a lot of us are beginners or just trying to get people to open. And so I want to provide kind of a more advanced tip here. As you continue on your email journey, as you're learning more about, you know, your audience, don't be afraid to experiment and test. It's called A/B testing, and all of these tools will allow you that capability. It just lets you kind of compare two versions of the same email to see which performs best on your audience. you never know what can work with your subscribers. We've seen some crazy things. So, you know, once you kind of get your foundation and you grow more comfortable with sending emails and campaigns, this is kind of a way to elevate your strategy a little bit. And here's just a couple of ideas to help everybody get started. Subject lines are always great. They'll definitely help you learn quickly on how to get through and get people to open. You can test who it's coming from. So you can test if it's, you know, your personal name or maybe it's your business. Time of day, things like that. There's always different opportunities to kind of learn and get to know your subscribers a little bit more so that you're able to kind of meet them where they are. And then obviously, you know, building awareness, you know, starts with your list. You have to have people on your subscriber and email list to get that message out there. So really our thing is we just, you know, what does understanding what your customer needs and what your customer wants most is really gonna get them or convince them to opt into an email or subscribe on your website. So always making sure that we're providing value and that we're solving a problem. Is this offer or you know, relevant to this audience? Is it high quality? You know, is this something that is going to is that, again, just like that quality aspect, and does it reflect your brand's image? You know, if you are kind of like on that luxury brand side, you know, it may not make sense for you to offer a discount code. You know, just always kind of think of what your brand and what you stand for, and that it matches those principles in gaining subscribers. And a couple of examples on how to get, you know, those emails. And the default is always a promotion, a special discount. But as a small business, if you're just getting started, you may not be able to afford that. So I want to kind of think outside the box besides just 10% off or free shipping. So some things that kind of provide value might be early access to, I don't know, Black Friday or Cyber Money deals if you aren't online. Maybe it's early access to some restaurants, a meal or things like that. Exclusive things are always great. You know, people like to feel special. So if you're able to add that into your marketing, that's always great. Loyalty programs. People love to feel loved and get free stuff for spending additional money. So that's an opportunity to kind of captivate people and get their emails. And don't be afraid to actually at the point of transaction, like if you're a retailer or a restaurant, literally just asking a person, would you like to sign up for our email list? Someone did this for me last year on Small Business Saturday, and I probably wouldn't have done it if I had shopped online. It's very easy. I feel like we've become blinds or not blind, oblivious or just automatically kind of gloss over that opt-in on websites. But you know, after making the purchase and they asked me, I was like, yeah, I would love to learn more about them and be in contact. And the salesperson actually told me, oh, we only will send you one email a month. So again, it was just setting that expectation that we're not going to spam you with a ton of emails, you know, building that relationship. So don't overlook kind of just like that personal ask to your customer. If you have the capability, you have a blog or you're just really knowledgeable about tips, tricks, and hacks, make sure you're leveraging content. People love just to learn more about something. Offer special experiences and events, opportunity to, you know, cross promote with other businesses in your space as well, so that you can build those relationships and share contacts.
Cool. So I will chat through how to integrate email and social. As it's listed here, they do work better together, and you definitely can make both efforts go further by kind of working them and repurposing what you can. So First and foremost, I would suggest cross-promoting to expand your audience. And what I mean by that is using similar messaging in your emails and your social posts. And you might have already started to get some ideas rolling as Sarah was sharing, what works in an email. There is some overlap with what works in an email and what would work on social, especially when we think about value. And so chances are, if it's valuable enough to go to your email audience, likely valuable enough to go to your social audience. And so by sharing your email content on social, you can engage users who may not be subscribed to your email, and vice versa. If you tap into email, you can engage users who might not be following you on social. And that's why it's helpful to cross promote. In addition to that, by cross promoting, you can ensure that your message has more opportunities to be seen. So if you've got a really solid email and you're seeing great performance on that email and nothing ever comes of it, why not repurpose it and use that to create some social posts, especially if the email performed well. This allows for your hard work with this great email to be seen on social now. You're essentially giving new life to content and extending the relevance and the visibility. So again, same idea of working smarter, not harder. You can really, if you think through this enough, you can really make all of these things work for you and work together. Another benefit of cross-promoting your content in social and on email is that your message is consistent. And so that's a really key thing too, especially as a new business owner or small business owner. There could be multiple channels that you have, and being consistent and ensuring that everything's cohesive is key, especially when we talk about brand awareness. So if someone's getting an email from your company, or from your business, it should be similar to what they would see on social media. It shouldn't be like night and day different. With that, I do think, like I mentioned in the earlier slide, one of the points was creating content for the platform. The content should look slightly different and feel slightly different on social media, because social media is a different platform by nature. But the general messaging and kind of the meat of it can be repurposed in both platforms, and it should be. And in doing so, that strengthens your brand identity and makes your business appear more credible, and it's more memorable and thus impactful. So there's lots of benefits to kind of leveraging both. And even this isn't mentioned here, but even outside of sharing content in both places, it doesn't hurt to add your social icons to the end of your emails if you haven't already. That just provides one more touch point for people who are subscribed to your list to kind of scroll at the bottom or even at the top, or sometimes in the middle. They can kind of be wherever, to see, oh, they're also on social media, and chances are they're opted into your email list. Clearly they're interested in you. So, why not capture that follow on social as well, or vice versa. I would say, I wouldn't necessarily link specifically like your opt-in or sign up page on a social media post, but you definitely can share that. If someone has a DM or sends you a DM, maybe curious about your business or wants to learn more or whatever the case, it never hurts to share with them. Oh, we've got an email list, you should subscribe. Or if you do make a post, regarding your email list, make sure it's like you're incentivizing that opt-in, so like, oh, for anyone who opts in today to our email list, you get, again, whether it's a promo or something exclusive, something like that. You can get really creative. But beyond just kind of mentioning that you're on both platforms, within both platforms, leverage the content and reuse it and repurpose it as much as you can. If you think through one good email and all the key points that Sarah mentioned, that could probably, if I'm like guessing, depending on the content, generate at least 2 or 3 social media posts. So your social posts don't need to be really long and extensive. They can be more quick hitting and fun, and just take what works, the different parts of your email, and create a couple posts here or there and make it work for you. Leveraging the email tools that Sarah mentioned, but also leveraging the social media tools that I mentioned. And you've got 1 email a month, a handful of social posts, you schedule everything and you're good. And then you can test what works and what doesn't, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so what Jessa was kind of alluding to is it really kind of starts with a great plan, organizing good old fashioned spreadsheet. So if you're able to really, lay out what you want to put into your email, you're able to repurpose, and vice versa. If you want to promote something first on social, then put it in your email. But if depending on where your business is at, some of you may have a blog, and so this is just kind of an example of that plan or roadmap. If do have that more advanced capability of blogging, if you have a blog that's going out and publishing in this month, make sure that you feature it in your email and you're repurposing it across social. Again, just making sure that you're working smarter and harder. Time is valuable, so trying to get as much promotion out of one piece is going to be really beneficial.
Yeah, and just to provide a little background, this might seem a little confusing. So we as an agency actually market our agency as well. And we have a blog, we have an email list, and we've got social channels. Feel free to follow us if you'd like. But this is kind of an example. So this was literally pulled from one of our like lighter content plans. So for our blog, we established for 1 month, we're going to create a blog that's about creative. We're a marketing agency. We'll create a blog about branding. In that email that month, then we feature both of those blogs so we've got 2 blogs that have been published on our website. Now we're saying these same 2 blogs are going to go out in our marketing emails. Then the same 2 blogs, we're going to have a little post go out on social media about the same thing. So when I talk about repurposing, you can see now this is 3 separate channels. Really could be multiple because social could encompass 5 channels at least, but 3 separate channels or avenues where the same content is dispersed among different areas. And that's how you're making your content work for you and repurposing it. So this is an example, like Sarah said, if you have a blog. If you don't, thankfully, she's got another example.
Yeah, so if you don't have a blog, totally okay. This is still doable. Our approach is treat your email and your social feed just as you would a website or your physical blog. You don't have to send them to a article, to learn more. You can give that information that you would put on a blog post and share it directly in the email. You can share it directly in the caption of your social media. So the same concept is still here. If you're in your email, you can do your primary announcement. You might have a couple of support materials where we might share a personal message from yourself as a business owner or a tip, and then you can space that out across social over the month as well. So don't worry if you don't have that blog or website. Again, your email and your social can serve as that platform. You're just sharing it all in the inbox instead of on your website.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. I did see a couple questions. I saw one from my section earlier, and if you have any, feel free to add them. I think we've got a couple minutes. Someone asked where you can find trending keywords. So this is going to be really technical, and I wish I had a visual for this. But in each social media platform, there is a search bar at the top generally. It's in different places on different platforms. So Facebook, LinkedIn is going to be at the top, and Instagrams is going to be like in the middle on the explore page. If you've heard of it, there is a search bar. If you type in any word under the sun, it works, I promise you, exactly like Google would, in that it will populate anything related to that word. So if you're looking for keywords that would resonate with your brand, again, if you're a coffee shop, let's use that example, you can go onto Instagram in the search bar, type in the word coffee, no spaces, no hashtags, just coffee. When you type that in, Instagram will populate a list of related keywords to coffee. All of those, I would say, are trending keywords because that's what Instagram is determining is trending and relevant related to that word. And I would encourage you to get niche, but not too niche. So I wouldn't get like, more specific than like Andersonville coffee or like Chicago coffee, for example, because you want to actually see some search results and you want people to be able to search for it. Most people will search for something that's like specific to an extent, on social media, but they're not like, it isn't fully a Google replacement. So they're not literally searching every detail. So you do want to keep it a bit general. But that's like my best hack. And that's, again, you can do that on every platform. If you're ever considering Pinterest, the same works on Pinterest. Go into the search bar, type in whatever that keyword is, and it will populate related keywords. And that's how you can find trending ones. And you could do this like an hour a week and kind of rotate them out and kind of see what works for you. I see, yeah, Sprout Social, that's cool. It's a partner of the AMA. Yes, it's also something that I've used for years and years and I love them. So I would suggest Sprout Social. Maura, I think we can share our contact info with the attendees, right? Can we?
Yes, if you want to put your emails in the chat or your, whatever website and,
And then I think there was a question, Sarah, for you about
Yes,
A/B testing.
someone asked about A/B testing. Do you send one email to an email list and then send a new version to the same email list? Or do you split the list into half and send one email to half the list and another to the other half? So what's great about all of the tools that I had shared with you guys is they have the A/B testing capability already built in. Certain ones will allow you to test different things, depending on more advanced, versus more beginner, but it will set up the A/B test for you. So when you go to create your campaign, you can select what, your criteria is. So if you want to test your subject line, you put in, your 2 different versions of your subject line, and the tool will automatically split it for you. So it will be sent to your random list. So you just have your one list. And then, for example, I think some tools will allow you to set the length of time that you allow it to choose a winner. So here, Alyssa, so we usually, when we do our tests, it will be sent to, I think, like 25 or 50% of our subscribers for 4 hours. So we allow people to at least engage with the email for a certain period of time. And then after that time expires, it will choose the winner based on whichever you have selected. So if you're doing a better open rate on your subject line, it will choose the subject line that has the higher open rate, and then it will send to the remaining list. So it will automatically do that for you. You don't have to worry about splitting your email list or anything. You just have to worry about testing and being creative and learning. Yeah.
Perfect. Any other questions? I did link our LinkedIn pages. I put my email in as well. Sarah's got hers in there, so you guys can reach out directly. We're happy to help you with anything. Yeah, Bonnie shared AMA Chicago does A/B testing on our weekly email subject lines on MailChimp. Very cool feature as Sarah's describing. A/B testing, it will go a long way for you. Perfect.
thank you so much. Well, we've got 2 minutes we're giving back to you. Thank you to Sarah and Jessica and Bonnie. We appreciate your expertise. Do you mind if I share your deck with the people that attended?
Feel free. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to share it with the people everyone that registered because they should have shown up.
Right. This is exclusive.
I was gonna say, back to our exclusiveness.
You're tough, Maura.
Yes, right. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. The American Marketing Association Chicago chapter helps us every quarter by offering these lunch and learns. So look out for the next one. And we appreciate you coming to see us. And remember, we have no cost one-on-one advising sessions. You can join for help with the basics of marketing. And then we have subject matter experts that we send you to. Okay, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.